And then in the bowl isn't textured? Huh. Okay, you know what? We're gonna do the bowl. It's such a simple texture, but like it'll allow us to not get too carried away here. Okay, I'm gonna start recording, which looks like everything's still working. Um, let me know if everything is still up and going, but I should now be screen recording so we can, maybe we'll make this into a little video. You might see yourself on there. Okay, let us pull up our bowl texture. Just grabbing the vanilla bowl texture here. As a Minecraft. I'm losing my mind. Where is this? Somebody's asking about the texture pack for Bedrock. It is currently in development. It works, but it's not in a releasable state. There are a ton of bugs with it, but it is coming. Love the shorts. Thank you, Jeremy. Okay, let's close out of that. Copy this. Just setting up our files here, so we're good to go. Okay, here we are. So first, I always got to check. For some reason, like, actually, I think you probably are only able to. I'm gonna try not to do any like side stuff because I know if you're watching in portrait right now, like, you're pretty condensed as far as what you're able to see. So first thing we're gonna do is take our texture here and I gotta kind of figure out how to set up my OBS here. Yeah, this stream might be a little bit janky. Yes, this is like sort of a test. We're gonna up it to 512 pixels, even though our current highest resolution of the pack, it used to be 512, but it is now 256 because the 512 version was like unable to run. It would legitimately crash the game. Like, even if like I have a 5080 and the 512 would just straight up not work, or it was unplayable. So, but I still texture everything in 512 just because it means that I have a little bit more flexibility with what I can do. So I'm just trying to get us a nice shape for the top of our bowl texture here. NSP Gamer says, Prime, when will you go back to requests? Immediately. I was just not planning on texturing today. So, but since the stream's, working, I figured we'd texture something simple. So that's why we're doing like the bowl. Okay, so we will get our inner, and I'm just trying to make sure everything still looks good. Okay, so we've got, this will be the shape for the top of our bowl, and then we do want to keep this border, the classic Minecrafty outline, so we'll add a stroke here, and we can make this 26 pixels, which is the new standard for the pack. Let's rasterize this. Okay, so we got our outline, and I suppose I'm probably going to duplicate one of these sides and flip it so that it's completely symmetrical, but for now, we'll just leave it like that. Cartonic asks, don't you have the soup done? Can't you just reuse that texture? Yeah, so my editor, Gabo, he used to help me out with some of the textures. He created a lot of sort of placeholders for some of the untextured stuff, and I've slowly been, it was just to help sort of fill out the pack. I've slowly been going and replacing some of his old textures. The food was one of those old textures, so, or the bowls. The soup, I mean. And I guess he, like, I'm surprised. I guess he only textured the soup variations. He didn't do like the actual bowl. Suspicious stew after, please, says Nathan. Yeah, we could do that. We could go on a little soup run here today. Somebody says their video quality kind of sucks. Is that your internet or is the stream quality kind of weird? Because if there's any issues, it's kind of hard for me to see. So just let me know, guys, if everything is like looking good. Okay, let's fix this up. So I'm just drawing out the connection to our bowl here. And I'm gonna put this on a layer behind the top so that we get to keep the outlines around everything. Let's do some of that and some of this. Looks fine for me. Okay, cool. Cool. How are we feeling about this bowl shape, guys? I think it's looking kind of bowly. Pizzanator, am I on Twitch? No, I am not. I considered it when I knew I wanted a live stream, but I was like, I don't really know what platform to go live on. And then I realized, like, even though I have a lot of followers, it really is a pain to get people to switch platforms. So I'd probably have like one person over there, even if I like posted it on my socials. So, you know, maybe one day I will decide on one platform and do all my streams there, or maybe start to make the switch over to Twitch. I know that that's kind of the meta platform to go live on, but all my followers are on TikTok and YouTube. So I might as well bring it to you guys, you know, so you can be very bowly. Nice. Okay. Here's our bowl shape. I was thinking I was gonna flip it, or to make it perfectly symmetrical, but I kind of like that it's not. I don't know. I actually am immediately going back on that. Okay, so let's get. Oh, we gotta merge these layers. Do we actually? I gotta make sure the colors are gonna be okay here. Okay, so we've got the bottom bowl. We've also got the top bowl, which is that darker color. And then, okay. It looks like, okay, yeah, we're gonna merge these together. I'm looking at the colors here on this outline. We've got this darker one down here, and then that one that crosses it is its own color, and it looks like this sort of connects, even though we did them the opposite way. We had the top connecting and the bottom being its own sort of thing. So I'm gonna try to just separate the border that goes across this thing. Somebody asked, why is it red? Or you know, actually that is an old comment because it's no longer red. But sometimes I just do colors to make it a little bit more visible, especially if I'm working on a texture that the colors are very similar. Okay, that's looking like a good line. Why is my upload schedule so chopped? It kind of is. But I think for like the past week, we've been pretty standard with daily videos. And I'm gonna try to keep that up as long as possible. I'd like to do daily videos. And then if we're gonna be doing live streaming stuff, I might be making content out of the live streams. So that could easily turn into 2 videos a day, with one of them being like a trimmed down version of this, and then another one being, you know, the usual scripted kind of highly edited type videos. I wish that there was a way to, let me see here. I don't want to mess with it. There is a way to put, just doing some OBS here stuff. Sorry, guys. Okay, so it looks like everybody's name in the global chat has the little YouTube icon. It would be kind of nice if it would differentiate between vertical and portrait, but if when I do eventually link this with TikTok, the TikTok messages will have its own platform or icon. And, you know, if I were to get Twitch in here or something, everybody would have their own icons. Where to download Bedrock? It is currently in development, but it is not ready yet. I'm sorry. It will be ready though at some point. Okay, I'm texturing this a little bit slower than I usually do because I'm kind of messing with OBS on the other screen and making sure the stream's all doing well and everything. So yeah, we're taking our time here. So here, let's get this lighter hue to the outline here. And it looks like there's actually a middle color here, which is a little bit interesting that that's a thing. We'll keep it simple. I'm not going to get too crazy with the bowl texture. I don't know if there's any major bowl fans out there. Remember, you're going to eat the bowl when you eat the soup. Yeah. That is kind of funny that's a thing. I at least don't have to texture the particles. I mean, I do have to texture like actual particles, but like break particles, like with the bowl or like with food or when you break blocks, it'll just pull the texture of the actual item. So that's somebody in this stream the other day asked if I had to texture the like block break particles. Have you done Suspicious Stew? No, maybe we'll do it today. I'm not sure if I'm just going to do a quick little bowl stream or if we'll maybe knock out a couple smaller textures. That could be kind of fun. Okay, so I'm just trying to get the highlight of this lighter section of the bottom of our bowl in here. Let me figure this out. Man, I don't know how streamers do it. I wish I could like you guys see the chat like overlaid on the screen. I don't, obviously. So, I wish that I could like have a like the chat in like the middle of my screen and you guys wouldn't be able to see it, but I know that that's kind of like impossible. Or I don't know, maybe it isn't. I don't know. I'm new to this whole thing. Okay, I'm just being so extra about the exact shape of this highlight. We can just throw it down. How long will it take me to finish? If you mean the pack, probably a couple months. We're getting close though. We are getting close. I'm hopefully going to be done with it by the end of the year. As far as this bowl, probably a couple minutes. Should we do our little glint here? I don't want to make the bowl look like too crazy shiny, but you know, we could add just a little bit of something to that. I suppose it's made out of wood. Probably not going to be all that shiny. You know, I think that looks all right. Maybe we could also add a little chunk out of this. Our texture is really simple here, so I'm just trying to see little ways that we can make it look a little bit more detailed. I kind of like that. We'll make it a little bit bigger though. Okay, bowl's done, or not done. The bottom part's done. Now we gotta do this top part. And it appears that there is the light part, which I think is the shadow on the inside of this. So if we actually swap this to that lighter back face color, then we're just gonna get a curve in here for that bottom part. Are you gonna do mobs? Yes, I am gonna do mobs. But items and blocks first, because I feel like those are the ones you're gonna see the most of, you know? People are excited for mobs. I'm excited to work on mobs too. Are you using Photopea? I'm using Photoshop. I think Photopea or Photopea, that's like a sort of a Photoshop like clone that's like in browser, I believe, if I'm remembering that correctly. Catching a live. You're not just catching a live, Poppy Seed Muffin. You're catching the first live and the first couple minutes of it, actually. I did some lives on TikTok, but that was, you know, TikTok lives tend to be a little bit of a different vibe than a YouTube live. I'm just trying to figure out how to do the shading here on the inside of this bowl. That looks, you know, all right. But we have, this doesn't go straight across. We've got some like light stuff here. So maybe we do like some, I'm just going to kind of experiment around here. I don't really know if this is the vibe exactly. I can't even really describe what I'm thinking, but I'm not really sure. I'm just not sure how to reintroduce this lighter like back color here with how we currently have it set up. I gotta go grab a bowl from my kitchen. You're not crazy, Harrison Luther. We have, he asked, is he crazy or didn't we already do the bowl? Some of the soup is done, but the bowl isn't, and that's because my editor, who put in some some sort of placeholder textures into the pack. He had done the bowls, like the soup, some of the soup, but he hadn't done the bowl itself. What am I drinking? I'm drinking a Red Bull. Okay, I feel something about this is not speaking to me. I don't know if you guys are, it just this shaded part. What do we do here? What do we do here? Let's hop back in game. Somebody's messaging me on Discord. Let me just check that, make sure it's nothing important. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's take a look. So we've got the bowl. So the soup is already done. This soup will probably be redone. It is not. I'm just trying to see how he had handled these textures. Looks kind of similar to like a little bit like what we got going on. Very similar, in fact, to our bowl texture. So let's maybe I don't push it all the way to the bottom. Move the greenish part down vertically. What greenish part are we talking about? The front lip is not dark enough? Well, I can't, for this pack, I'm sticking to the vanilla textures, so I can't exactly change the colors. Crescent shading at the bottom of inside instead of like a line. Let me think. Okay, stop doing that. Is that better or worse? That's worse for sure. Maybe. Okay, actually, maybe I have this all wrong. Would. Oh my god. I'm trying to think. Would the Geez, let me delete this. Would the shading be like going down or like curving up? Because I made it curve up, but inverse curve the shadow, teacup duck. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. So we could have the shadow. Yeah, if that was right, I really don't know what I was thinking. If we get the shadow looking like this, this could be the solution. I actually don't know. I'll just do a quick one down here just to see if it looks any better. What does it look like a bowl interior though? I'm just not sure. Maybe I'm gonna look up some pictures of some bowls. Yeah, I don't know why looking up pictures of bowls, I thought that would help me at all. Okay, what do we think? Do we think the shading looks better like downwards or looks better upwards? If you caught how it looked when it was upwards. If the light is coming from the front, then it would curve up. That's kind of what I'm thinking as well. Upwards. Retro Diamond says add a spoon. That'd be fun, but I cannot be just adding spoons willy-nilly. Okay, what about the actual curve on this? I think that's, I think we're working in the right direction. I think I'm way overthinking this, and nobody's ever going to be looking at the shading on the bowl. It looks like there's maybe we could, bear with me here, get some of this lighter in there. That actually doesn't look horrible. And then does the drop look low enough though? Is it too flat? I'm not really sure. Yeah, I think somebody says that looks nice. Teacup duck. Yeah, I think this is a an improvement, perhaps. I'm just checking out chat right now, trying to catch up a bit. Compare it to normal texture. Here is the normal texture, and then here is our texture. I low-key... I'm not gonna lie, guys. I think the opening of our bowl is too big. Now that I'm actually looking at this, like this looks a lot like slimmer. Like, am I crazy? I could redo it really fast. I don't know. Do we think that this is too like thick up top? Too round? Problem is the vanilla texture. Yeah, it always is. Maybe the perspective can be modified a bit to make the lip of the bowl, the side of it, not as round, so it's like an oval shape instead of... It looks too much... yeah. Okay. I'm going to keep this layer. I'm going to quickly redo this. I don't know. I got a little bit carried away with how thick I made the bowl. I really don't know what I was thinking. So if we do something a little bit more like this... Maybe I was basing it too much on this outline and less on the actual inside of this opening of the bowl. Because if we base it on the inside of the opening, like this lines up with the pixels now, it's decently smaller than what we originally had. Okay, so we're going to get our quick, and all the other parts will just basically be able to trace on what we had, so we don't have to waste too much time redoing anything. We'll throw on our stroke here. Rasterize that. And then we'll get the bottom of our bowl, which we will flatten out a bit. Maybe even raise it up a bit. Get that going there. Get this one up here just so that this outline lines up with the outline on our top. Stroke. Oh my god, that's not really what I intended. I'm gonna move this to its own layer so we can add our stroke to it and then throw it behind. Looks like I didn't make it big enough, but that's okay. We'll just have to do the rest by hand. Reach down. Let me connect this. Try to make it look natural as best that I can. Retro Diamond says it's already looking better, not gonna lie. Yeah, I think so. Who knows? If I wasn't with you guys today, I might have just been like, you know what? Doesn't matter. I'm just gonna leave it as it is. But I gotta make a bowl stream somewhat interesting. So we'll try to get it as perfect as we can. Kaluzia agrees, says the proportion looks a little bit better. Yeah, I think so. I think it's giving Minecraft Bowl a little bit more. Yeah, 100%. Okay, so here's version number 2, and then here was our original one, which now I feel like I can see exactly what was wrong. But, you know, say 1 or 2 in chat, depending on which one you guys prefer. 2 is the new one, 1 is the old one. We'll see if anyone even agrees that or anyone even thinks that the old one is better. Probably not. Two, bunch of 2s. Okay, yeah, 100%. Definitely 3, says StarFX. Yeah, we'll go with 3. Okay. Zin Almo says 1. Anyone who says 1 is getting banned from the chat. I'm just kidding, but this is definitely superior. Okay, so I'm just quickly gonna recolor this up so we can end up where we were. Let's do this. Okay, so the darker we can have that. Actually, you know what? This time I'm going to try to make things line up a little bit better than they did. Actually, no. No, we got that looking good the first time. Oh, wait, I forgot. Oh my gosh. So we'll get our darker color in here for the bottom right-hand edge. And then I forgot that I have to color this. The cross part is its own shade of brown. W bowl. Okay, just gonna make sure these line up correctly. And I think they do. I think this one looks a little bit, maybe a little bit off. I'm not sure. I suppose we'll see as I add these colors in here. Okay, so we got that. Oh, wait, why am I low-key stupid? Okay, there. Lighter is there, and then we just have this color right here, this lighter part that goes around the top, and then we have that middle sort of hue on this 1 pixel. So I'll just quickly add a little bit to that. Actually, I'll try to make it line up with the rest of our angles here. What color is that? That middle brown. Okay, bowl looking a lot better than our first look. Let's re-add this shiny bit. I think we're gonna keep that exactly the same, although of course I'm gonna be resizing it for our new bowl here. So it's all lined up as it should be, which just means making it a little bit smaller and raising it up a little bit, I think. Sharpshooter, yo, what's up? Your content is awesome. Keep it up. Thank you. Glad you guys like it. We have been doing pretty good lately. I think I've been keeping up with daily uploads for about a week now. We'll see how long I can do that. Ideally, I'd love to just stay with doing daily uploads forever, but it can kind of either me or my editor's schedule, just stuff comes up. It's kind of hard to do daily stuff. Pointy Dig says, I found the Discord server. Yeah, if you guys aren't in the Discord server, it is discord.gg/prime mods, all one word. We have a pretty good community in there. That's where a lot of the regulars sort of hang out. I am not as active in the Discord as I used to be, and I'd like to start being a little bit more active in there. Maybe like with streaming and everything and just sort of trying to change up my content a bit. Maybe I'll start being a little bit more active in the Discord. We also have an SMP server, if that's your thing. I think we even have a Hightail server. So, and you can find information on that in the Discord as well. Ghost and Pals Obsessed says, life is chaotic. Don't worry about having to upload every day. Yeah, stuff can come up. So what I've been trying lately is we'll just try to like kind of batch videos. Like we have multiple videos in the works right now. So that can mean that like halfway through the week, I've already recorded everything for the week. So I can, go and do whatever with the remainder of the days. And you guys, it doesn't even look like I'm gone. It can be kind of funny when people watch my videos and they like make a request or they're like, oh, why didn't you do the thing that I commented in the last video? And it's like, bro, that video was recorded a week ago. Like this, I'm not like, it takes many hours for stuff to be textured and for scripts to be written and recorded and sent off to my editor. And then he has to edit everything and collect B-roll, and it can be a whole thing. Just kind of checking out the chat. Prime, is there any textures you did between preview and bowl? Preview and bowl. Oh, the preview, the recent preview that came out. I'm trying to remember what was in the recent preview. So if you're a patron, you get basically access to textures like usually a couple days. Like you may even have access to textures that I haven't posted videos on yet. So you don't have to wait. I mean, everybody else, even the free version of the pack and everything, they all get access at the end of the month. But if you're like a certain tier in the Patreon, you get early access. So that's what he was talking about. I just kind of forget what was in the latest preview. I don't think so. I think Bowl might be, this might be the first texture that is not in the preview. Blurp asking about what brand my microwave is. I don't know. It came with the apartment. Okay, so I'm trying to think, should we bother trying to give some little details to this? I don't want it to just, I love adding little spikes and stuff to textures, but, you know, just to give it a little bit more texture to it, but, you know, that isn't always necessary. It can be a little extra sometimes. Maybe we can do like, get a bit of an angle, like it's like the wooden texture of the bowl or something. That kind of looks bowly. Don't forget the highlight, says Teacup Duck. You're absolutely right. We need to add this highlight. So we've got 3 pixels of highlight here. I'm not really sure how we're gonna put this in here. Actually, I low-key do. We could just do a classic kind of a rectangle highlight, I think. I think that could be the move over doing something more rounded. Let's see. What do we think about that? What sort of shape highlight do you guys want to see? Like a circle, or I also technically could say, oh, this is like the little edge around the back. So I could instead flatten it out and make a highlight around the whole back, but I'm not really sure. Make it like a wood knot. That's an interesting idea. I'm not really sure how I'd do that. We could also, I could have it with a little bit of a gap right there, but I also could push it all the way up. That would maybe make it look a little bit more like it's the edge of the bowl versus like a highlight on the inside of the bowl. On the creative menu, it has 2 untextured tabs, the creeper egg spawning and the sign item. Oh, I think, is that why you've been requesting the sign? I was curious why you were interested in the sign item. But yeah, you're right. Those do show up in the creative inventory. So I'm not really sure. I wasn't going to work on spawn eggs for a while, but I might push the creeper spawn egg up sooner just so that we can get that creative inventory figured out. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. How do we feel about this? I don't want to get too crazy here. We could add a little something though. A little bit of something. Just fix some pixels here. The simplest textures are kind of hardest to get to look decent, I think. Yeah, I sort of agree because there's not a lot going on, so you notice every little like detail. Okay, so here we've got our textured bowl and we've got our untextured bowl. What do we think? Drop 1 out of 10 in the chat. I'll see how we're feeling. 1 to 10, 10 being best texture you've ever seen and 1 being trash. Ten, 9, 10, 8.3, 1, 8, 11, 6, 7, 7. Okay. Seems like we like it. We're never going to get a perfect 10 out of 10. And you will for sure know that if you've ever been in one of my comment sections. Okay. So let's save this up. Let's hop back into Minecraft and let me get an item frame so we can actually look at the bowl a little bit better. Let's go put it down. Let's put it down somewhere right here on the endstone bricks. Okay. Bowl before, and I'll just restart my game. This might cause a little bit of lag on the stream because my computer has to like figure this all out. NSB Gamer says, please update placeable items. That's some pretty elite knowledge. I haven't worked on placeable items in forever. Okay. Our bowl is complete. I think we did a pretty good job. I've heard some people say coconut shells. I think it kind of looks like a coconut shell. I agree. Blurp says lag. That might have been a little bit late, a little bit of a while ago. I assume you're talking about when I was reloading the textures. I'm going to try to do that as little as possible, and I'm going to try not to talk while the textures are being reloaded. Rex Gamer asks, what are you drinking? I'm drinking the Ice Vanilla Berry Red Bull. Coolest bowl I've seen. Thank you, Ghost and Pals Obsessed. It looks better in game. Yeah, they sometimes do. You can get a little bit caught up in some of the details when you're like looking at it in like Photoshop. Okay, so now that our bowl has been done, we can take a look at some of our soup textures, because if you guys weren't in here earlier, I was mentioning that these soup textures, the ones that are currently done, were sort of placeholders done by my editor. So the rabbit stew is like 1 pixel lower than the suspicious stew. Has this always been the case? Another simple or soup. Yeah, I was thinking either another texture or a soup, but I think these soup textures are pretty simple. So also we've got these bowls. So maybe we don't get into like rabbit stew. That might be a little bit too complicated, or maybe suspicious stew, but I think we could do mushroom stew and beetroot soup this stream as well. This is a kind of spur of the moment stream. I didn't even tell anybody that I was doing it. So if you're in here, it's serendipity. Okay, beetroot soup and mushroom stew. I say let's do it. So I'm going to delete our old beetroot soup texture and our mushroom stew. Will you be doing any of the Copper Age blocks anytime soon? Asks Harrison Luther. I low-key don't even remember what was added in the Copper Age. There was a lot of, I know there's a lot of copper blocks. I've done like the copper bars and stuff like that. Copper stuff is always a pain to do, man, because mushroom stew, beetroot. Oh. Yeah, I got a notification from OBS that things have disconnected. Are we back? Are we dead or what? We're good? Lag. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Okay, back. Good to hear it. We're still chilling in the vertical stream. Tools and Armor have only the unoxidized version. Yeah, you're right about that, but the Tools and Armor are actually already done. Let me show them off a bit. Oh my god, there's so much copper stuff, dude. Yeah, I recently just redid all the tools. If you guys will know that if you've been doing it. Armor, I have not started on Armor yet, but tools are done for the copper. And all of the, I'm not sure if I have a little copper block like setup in here, but yeah, we got, so like the bars, I recently just did the bars. Most of the copper blocks are done. I think the only copper thing that isn't done, yeah, is the chains, which I've already textured the normal chains, so I just need to get around to doing that. It's basically just going to be a recolor, and the trapdoor. Every other copper thing is done though. Oxidized tools, that would be pretty cool. Maybe as an add-on. I just don't really want to work on any like add-ons right now. While there's still like major textures that need to be completed. I think people also kind of get annoyed when I go off on little side projects. So We'll stay focused here. Okay, so bowl. I have been doing some shenanigans off screen. I've got our mushroom soup texture here. So let's bring these up. We got mushroom stew, and we got the beetroot soup. V Game God says, have you done the command block? I have not done the command block, but I believe it's in the requests. NSB, you probably know that better than I do. So very shortly here, I could be doing the command block. Are you going to do the spyglass? Yeah, I'm going to do everything at some point. Okay, so I got our bowl placed in here for our beetroot, and then I'm going to place the bowl. Oh. And the reason I put this little black corner in here when I copy textures over is so that I can make sure it like lines up so that the bowl is in the exact same place it is. Otherwise, you know, if I just eyeballed it, it would like look weird in the inventory. I know we were looking at the fact that the suspicious stew is automatically like, or just in the basic game, it's like, sorry, losing my train of thought. The suspicious stew and the vanilla textures is like 1 pixel off. I'm probably gonna fix that in my pack because that's kind of weird. Okay, guys, let's fill this bowl up with soup. So, you know, I could have the soup be a slightly lower level and then we could still see like the back of the bowl, but we don't see any of those kind of pixels here. We only see the rim. So let's just see how that looks before I get too crazy. Okay, that, I mean, to kind of visualize what I was saying, I was saying like we could have like a, oh my God, that was horrible. We could have like a layer of brown back here so that it looks like the soup is like in here. That looks better. Even if it's not exactly accurate to this, I think that looks good enough that I'm probably going to do it. You guys can let me know if you agree with that call. Okay, let's get soup time. Comments are delayed by 15 seconds. Yeah. That's just how it is. I think that's sort of the standard on YouTube Lives. I haven't spent a whole lot of time on YouTube Lives, but I did some messing around. I tried to get the delay as low as I could, and it sounds like this is just sort of the typical delay. I don't know. Any of you guys who have watched a lot of YouTube Lives, are my comments like more delayed than usual? I mean, it's probably easier to notice because I have that like global chat. Do the milk bucket. The milk bucket's done. I think we did all of the buckets. Okay, let me select this, reverse it, grab our soup. Okay, soup is in the bowl. Please start streaming every night. Yeah, I want to stream more. This is my first stream. I want to keep streaming. And maybe we could do it. I texture most days. I work most days. So yeah, we could do, we could make it pretty common, maybe even daily. That would be a little much, but semi-daily. Mobs, please. Yeah, I'm not gonna start on mobs until blocks and items are done because I think those just take the priority. Okay, so as far as our actual variation in the soup texture here, I'm just kind of experimenting. I think I'm gonna try to get some lines like going across. I don't know. It's supposed to be like a liquid, obviously, and this one clearly looks like it's not like clumpy or anything. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna try and see what sort of shapes appear with me just messing around. I like the way he says soup. Am I saying soup weird? Or did I say it weird like one time? You should add an FAQ in the description, says Coda. Do you mean the description of the live? Because I know, especially on the vertical live, I imagine I imagine if you're if you're in the horizontal live right now, you're probably like you probably follow me. But if you're in the vertical, if it works anything like TikTok, you might this might be like the first time you're seeing me. So it could be beneficial for me to put some like information in the description. I think this is still called test stream, even though it became a soup stream. Maybe I could rename it. Guild says, I was under the impression that bowl items were layered on top of the base bowl texture like potions are with bottles. That makes a lot of sense. I think the reason potions are is because there's so many and it's basically just changing the color, but all of the soup variations have like unique textures as well. It's not just like a color change. So I think that's why. Namju says, I don't believe you responded to my comment. Which comment? Other than saying that the texture looks really good so far. Thank you. Let me try to scroll up. Okay, we're gonna get a little bit of some darkness up here for these dark pixels. How are we feeling about the shading on the soup? I think it'll look fine in the inventory, but do all the enchanted books, lol. So basically, they all have the same texture. There's only one enchanted book texture, and it's actually already done. So how do we handle this part now? Let me think. We could just get a bit of shape going on here. Could you do the brush texture in the near future? I keep forgetting that that's a thing. Like I low-key forget that like the brush is even, or like I've never actually done archaeology in the game before, but yeah, I could do it. Especially because we're really getting close to finishing a large amount of the blocks, so I'm going to be moving on to more items like this sort of thing. Actually, that looks like it doesn't cover enough area. There's a lot of lightness here. We could stretch it out a bit. Okay, how are we feeling about the beetroot stew? 1 to 10. I'm not sure what I don't really know how to make soup look like soup, you know? So 1 to 10 in the chat. How are we feeling about beetroot soup? If it's looking good, we can move on to the mushroom stew. JB Gaming says, what kind of program is this? This is Photoshop. 7 too sharp. Yeah, I'm just not really sure what else to do. I don't want to make it look chunky because I think beetroot soup is supposed to be like a liquid, you know? Okay, we're getting 7s, we're getting 8s. You know, that can be the, I think that's probably good enough. Okay, looks like you guys are liking it, so we're moving on to probably our final texture of the day. Well, actually, that is going to be quick because now that I just looked at this, the freaking mushroom stew is a recolor of the beetroot stew. So this is actually going to be a whole lot faster. All right, so let's just grab these colors and put them in. And our mushroom stew is done. So let's save both of these and hop back in game. Okay, let's get You know what? Let's build a little table to eat our like mushroom stew on, shall we? Boop, 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 boop. All right, we got our bowl. We got our, we can actually turn on my, yep, let's throw that on. Festa. Oh wait, let me just make sure my thing is working. Festa Bedrock will be done probably in a couple weeks / months. Just to answer you, so you don't have to keep spamming the chat. Okay, we got our bowl here, we got our mushroom stew here, and then we have our beetroot stew here. I just turned on an old pack of mine that I made that basically just makes item frames invisible and makes items display bigger. That's how I get like my screenshots and stuff. And I think it's a little bit easier to look at items this way. Gotta make sure I can actually see this on vertical. Yeah, it fits in there. All right, guys. I think this was pretty successful. I think I'm liking how the soup looks. And if we take a look in the inventory, yep, that's looking good. Now, we still do have the rabbit stew and the suspicious stew, but those are looking a little bit complicated. So maybe we'll save that for another stream, especially because I need to make sure this stream actually even like worked and is recording and all this stuff, because this was honestly just supposed to be a test stream. So little bonus soup bowl moment for anybody who showed up. Okay, guys, I was just checking out chat for a second. I think that about wraps it up for today. Nothing too crazy. You know, I can make some notes for our next stream, and you know, look back on the chat and see if there's anything that I missed. But let's see how many. You know, I think it did pretty good for a surprise stream. And I will see you guys next time I'm stream. I have a video coming out, I believe tomorrow. Let me see. I don't know what video. Oh, Chiseled Red Sandstone should be out tomorrow. Ideally. If not, I'll upload something else tomorrow for you guys. And I will stream. I could probably stream tomorrow. So I'll probably post about it. I'll figure out what time. Maybe I'll come up with a schedule on when I stream. Maybe evenings or something like that. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you to everyone who pulled up. And I'll see you guys next time.